We're going to be hearing a lot more here on WMAY about the Citizens Club events. It's a organization of citizens of the Springfield area that get together and have policy discussions, and they do it in the early morning hours on a Friday, and they've got one coming up in just about an hour's time. You're going to be able to sit back and enjoy some coffee at a reception, and then at 8 o'clock, a program is going to start at the Hoagland Center for the Arts. Again, that's this morning. So you still got time to rearrange things and get out the door a little bit early and head over to the Hoagland Center for the Arts. It's going to be in the club room, third floor, and they're going to have a policy discussion today about the election outcome. So here with Springfield's Morning News, I'm Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk, and let's talk with the moderator of this discussion, Kent Redfield, Professor Emeritus, looking at politics and all kinds of different things that happen at the Illinois State House and beyond. He joins us now. Thanks for taking time, Kent. It's always good to talk with you.
Oh, good to talk to you, too.
So what can people expect if they head down to the Hoagland today?
Well, we have Bernie Schoenberg, who is a longtime political reporter. He's retired now, but he was with the State Journal-Register for a very long time and been watching politics in central Illinois and the state and then we have Scott Reeder, who's written for a number of news organizations over the years and is now with the Illinois Times, and another person that's been watching Illinois politics. And so we're going to get a take from them about the election, the midterm. What do they think were the big stories, and what were the surprises? So it should be an interesting discussion. We always leave time for the people in the audience to ask questions when we have these discussions.
So it's going to be an important conversation, a lot of really, I think, important insight from reporters who have been on the ground and have asked tough questions. I've worked with both Scott Reeder and with Bernie on the ground, asking questions of various elected officials. And, it's interesting, Kent, the perspective that journalists can provide, because there's a lot that's left on the cutting room floor of knowledge that these journalists have, right? I mean, when it comes to what gets printed, when it comes to what gets ultimately reported, there's a lot of stuff that's more of the minutia, more of the really granule issues that really doesn't get out into the ether, right?
No, yeah, you get a lot of the details, the backstories. You get people that have been around, and so they can kind of put elections in perspective. And one party is up, one party is down, in a particular election. They've got a feel for kind of what are the things that are moving politics, and what are the possibilities for the future. So it's always I've learned from them all the time when I talk to reporters about things in politics, but I usually learn as much or more from them as they learn from me. So I really enjoy, an opportunity to get experienced people to kind of sit down and give the big picture.
Kent Redfield joins us. He is a professor of politics at UIS. He's going to be the moderator for a policy breakfast that begins at 8 o'clock, but they've got the coffee reception going on at 7:30, so still plenty of time for you to get down there to the Hoagland Center for the Arts, Club Room 3, downtown Springfield at the Hoagland. Complimentary coffee, sponsored by Mark Hanna. So thanks, Mark, for that. But Kent, for you, you're going to be moderating, so you're really going to be kind of throwing out the questions to Bernie Schoenberg and Scott Reeder and having them kind of go back and forth. But for you, as a longtime observer of politics, and I don't want you to give it all away here, but what's your takeaway of what happened in the 2022 election?
Well, Illinois is such a contrast with what goes on in the rest of the Midwest. I mean, obviously the Democrats had a pretty good night and they've got some advantages in Illinois politics. And so, we've got the leadership of both the Senate Republicans, and the House Republicans stepping down. And so, the things I'm watching are kind of, what what's the takeaway from the Republican Party from the election? How do they go about rebuilding their ability to influence politics in Illinois? So that's one of the long-term implications of this. Is are we seeing just an upsurge that is just going to eventually you get swings back and forth, or are there some long-term implications for what the political parties are going to be doing?
Kent, when it comes to Illinois politics, of course, that's one thing, but nationally, what's your assessment of how that seems to be playing out?
Oh, we see polarization again. Red state, blue state is not just a phrase, and so it's going to be, there's certainly not going to be a lot of gridlock in the next 2 years with the Republicans in control of the House, and I hope we're going to have find some common ground to work on some problems. Nothing's going to get done unless you compromise, and there are solutions out there if people are willing to meet in the middle. Nobody expects anybody to give up their principles, but we could be doing a lot better. So I'm hopeful. I'm going to be really interested to see new leadership for the Republicans in the House as they take over the speakership, and so it's going to be an interesting time. I just hope we're going to solve some problems before we do the 2024 presidential election, 24/7.
Well, Kent, yeah, I mean that's practically already started, right?
Oh,
I mean,
yes,
it's pretty incredible. But Kent, there's something else too. In this last question here, of course, the policy breakfast today at the Hoagland Center for the Arts, the Citizens Club of Springfield hosting that, as they do with a lot of these policy breakfasts. The coffee reception starts at 7:30. Again, today, this morning, 7:30 coffee reception with the program starting at 8. Kent Redfield's going to be moderating a discussion between Bernie Schoenberg, retired SJR reporter, and Scott Reeder, reporter with the Illinois Times. They're going to be evaluating and picking apart the outcomes of the 2022 election, and also audience members are going to have a chance to ask some questions as well. Again, downtown Hoagland, 3rd floor, the policy breakfast with the Citizens Club of Springfield. 7:30 is the coffee reception, 8 o'clock. This morning is the program. Now, Kent, you've done so much investigation and research into finance, campaign finance. Are we going to see this continue march of just millions and millions and millions more dollars in Illinois politics? Or do you anticipate that that's going to go by the wayside if, for instance, Governor J.B. Pritzker goes off to run for president, or, in the years ahead, isn't governor anymore? How much do you think big mega donors are going to be playing a role in Illinois politics moving forward?
Well, and certainly for the next, we assume that the next 2 years, but I'm actually assuming 4 years. Governor Pritzker is going to be there. It's very unusual for an Illinois governor to serve more than 2 terms. You have to go back to Jim Thompson. And so, it may be premature to say, the billionaire era in Illinois politics is going away, but I think it's likely. You Ken Griffin and funded from the Republican side and has now left the state, but Richard Uihlein is still funding, putting money into various parts of Illinois politics. So it's not going away immediately. Long term, this is an unusual set of circumstances that I don't think you can't just dial up and say send me a billionaire to even things out. I think it has certainly dominated since 2014. It's dominated Illinois politics. I don't think we need to get back to grassroots money coming from the state, people that have got a stake in Illinois and are putting some money out there, but it's on the parties to go out and make the case about why people should be engaged. The more local it is, the better it is in terms of actually getting people to have a voice.
Kent Redfield, professor of politics at UIS, greatly appreciate your time. And again, you will be moderating a conversation between 2 veteran journalists this morning down at the Hoagland Center for the Arts, part of the Citizens Club of Springfield Policy Breakfast. The coffee reception starts at 7:30, and the program starts at 8. Greatly appreciate your time this morning. I'll let you go so you can get down there and enjoy some coffee before you have to moderate these two, Bernie Schoenberg and Scott Reeder. So greatly appreciate it. We'll talk again soon, all right?
Oh, certainly. Good to talk to you, all of us.
It is Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop on 90.